we really see the fact that our dollar is not going as far as it needs to, especially when we start stockpiling and prepping. So today's video is going to be a good one. We're going to talk about 10 ways that we can save money when we're heading into a deeper recession, more inflation, and how can we put up the money to do the preps that we're needing to do to take care of our family. Well, today's video is going to be some common sense that just tells us these are just smart ways to save money and get ahead of inflation and the recession that could be getting tougher over the next coming year. Today's video is going to be going. It starts right now. Hey guys, welcome to the Max. If you're new to the Max, go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up or down. That does help us get into the algorithm, especially when you start commenting and telling us what you think about this video. If you don't like it, that's okay. Tell us what you don't like about this video. A lot of times, again, we do these stockpile videos to help, and hopefully together we can build a community of understanding what it means to be prepared and also to build up our family, our home, and to be more sustainable. So let's jump right into the list of things that could help us be more sustainable, to save money, and it just makes common sense on what we could do to get ahead of inflation and the recession. Let's jump right into them. Number one is key. It is meal planning for daily, weekly, and monthly. This is also very important as we're building our pantry up. So we need to plan to eat things that we like as a family. We don't need to have a lot of things that we prep and we stockpile if we're not going to eat those. If you don't like green beans, I would challenge you not to stockpile green beans. Same way, if you're meal planning and you know you eat spaghetti every Wednesday night, or you have a Taco Tuesday every Tuesday night. The whole point is meal planning and meal prepping to build a pantry up that could help you budget and not buy things that doesn't matter. Make sure you are purposely building that shopping list to purposely pick up the things you need, and that will help you stay on budget. Also save some money because you can start buying some of those things in bulk. If you know you're going to eat taco shells, or you know you're going to eat noodles, you know you can buy those things in bulk that will save per unit price. So make good and wise meal planning and meal prepping situations to get you not only through the week, but through the month and maybe the coming months. That will help you build a good stockpile prepping list, not only to eat now, but for later too. Number two goes along with that. I kind of said it at the very end of that list, is bulk buying. Now we say Costco, or we say Azure, or we say Sam's, or we even say just your typical grocery store if you can buy in bigger family packs, you know, things like that. But I really mean it, bulk buying, and look at the unit price. Now the important thing is, don't look at the price of the goods, and I know that's what you have to pay, and I know that you need to focus on that. But if you usually look, there's a little orange or little yellow mark on everything that you're purchasing, and it says per unit price or per ounce. Some things are a gimmick and you'll buy a bigger pack and it actually costs you more. But for the most part, if you look at that number, if all of a sudden it costs 33 cents an ounce, it may cost 25 cents an ounce if you buy the bigger pack. If it costs, you know, this meat costs $3 or $4 a pound, if you buy the family pack, it may be $2.88 a pound. So be smart in that. But as we meal prep, we see we may need this in bulk. And then if we can buy in bulk because the unit price is showing lower, that is huge. Now I want to kind of give you an example why this could be a scheme. If we're not raising turkeys for the year, or we don't have ham, like sliced ham for deli ham, we will have to buy some from a local grocer. Well, this particular grocer has an uncured ham that doesn't have any kind of nitrates in it that naturally does not occur unless you're using like pickling spices or celery seed. So when we buy that ham, the family pack per unit price is actually like 4 or 5 cents more. But what it is the price up top looks like, oh, you're getting a good deal because it's not that much more than the regular pack. So be wary of that. Look at that little unit price or that price per ounce, because it can be a little tricky, but buy in bulk, make sure you're saving on the unit or per ounce price. Number 3 and 4 go together. So let's jump into number 3 first. It is cooking from scratch. We're meal planning, we're meal prepping, we're buying in bulk, we're saving money. Now, you don't have to go to Burger King or McDonald's or any other fast food chain for lunch or for supper every day. every other day, or not even 3 or 4 times a week. It's time to start cooking from scratch. Don't tell me and don't give me the excuse, oh, it's way cheaper to buy in town. Not only is it healthier to cook at home, it gives you family time at home around the dinner table, which is huge. And thirdly, it's not cheaper. You just think it is because of the gimmicks of saying, well, I can go buy a $7 burger or a $10 meal, and that's a lot cheaper than having to buy all this stuff and cook it. Well, here's the key. Number 3 is cooking from scratch, cooking from home, healthier and better for you and economic. Number 4 is when you make all that food, you have leftovers. That's called lunch or supper for the next day. That's another way to save funds. I work with a bunch of guys each and every day. When I leave this farm, I still have a full-time job. And when I literally go into the office, there's a lot of those guys who will literally eat lunch out every day. And I'll tell them, you know, hey, I don't say you're doing that. Not only is it unhealthy, it costs so much. So no excuses when all of a sudden you can't cook from scratch. And then no excuses to say, I'm not gonna eat these leftovers. Think about it. There was a study out the other day that said 40% of food wasted is leftovers from people in America not eating what was left or making too much and not planning. So go back to that meal prep. If you don't like leftovers, which I think you're crazy and that's a spoiled mentality if you don't eat leftovers, sorry, just being honest. But if you don't eat leftovers, then make just enough. That way you don't waste. But the important thing is on number 4 is eat your leftovers. Don't have a waste. We may eat on something like, for instance, if we make a roast and a big meal with all our vegetables tonight, tomorrow we'll have some roast over, and guess what? We'll eat roast beef sandwiches, or we'll make something else with it. Have fun with it, be creative, but ultimately use your leftovers and cook from scratch. On to number 5. Number 5 is sales, sales, sales. Nobody wants to stand behind a couponer, I understand. Nobody wants to put their little link in to get the 15 or 20% off, because then they get your email. That just takes time. Actually, I rant sometimes with Misty because she'll like, hey, I know there's a coupon for that. I'm like, oh, we don't have time for that. And then she'll save us like $15 or $20 or $10 or $5. Well, what she's doing, she is jumping on the sales. And then she's like, see, I told you. So what I mean by that is enjoy the fact of seeing the sales and then learning when the sales are coming. If you are used to looking at a newspaper and you know it's the Wednesday sales for this grocery store, or you know you can buy in bulk and there's some sales, or buy one get one free. I know that sounds crazy, but we're in an economy where we better learn how to save money and learn how to be better with our money, because our money doesn't go as far as it used to. So if there are some sales, you need to buy it. Now, sales gimmicks is not a sale. Make sure you do your research, gain wisdom, and understand a common sense approach to getting sales and couponing. Don't spend a crud load of more money than you really needed to just to get $5 off. That's not smart. But there are some sales out there, because a lot of times these stores have overstocked. Well, that can benefit you, because then you can stock up and make sure you can put up for prepping, but also to save money on the day-to-day meals when you're meal planning. Number 6 is, of course, growing your own food. We push this just about every video because it's that important. Sometimes you saw our farm tour. If you hadn't seen our farm tour just from a few days ago, you need to go back and watch it, because we show you some vegetation, we show you some animals, we show you how we supplement feed them. But ultimately, our goal is to grow food. If we can grow it, then I know what is on it, what went into it, and the labor of love that I've put into it as well. I know how valuable it is. And I also know that I can supplement and I can grow that food. For instance, let's talk about lettuce. Lettuce is in shortage. If you don't know, it's actually in shortage across America. There's a lot of fast food chains that don't have lettuce, and you're gonna pay more for it at a grocer. Well, do you realize a head of lettuce may cost you $2.50 to $5 or $6 for a head of lettuce, a simple head of lettuce? You can buy a set of heirloom, organic, non-GMO, the most expensive kind of lettuce seed that you can think of, and you can usually buy it for $1 to $3 per 20, 50, or 100 seeds in those packets. That just depends on where you're buying it. For instance, at our survival seed link, there's varieties that start at $1 and $2. Our Hall Tools link, they sell more bulk, so it may be $3 to $5 to $10 depending on how much you're buying. But you can buy a pack for $2 or $3 or $4 and grow as much lettuce as you can eat. And that's what I mean. And lettuce, it doesn't take much to grow lettuce. Just a little pot, you can grow as much lettuce as you want, and you're saving money by growing your own food. Number 7 is eating quality, not processed and easy and convenient. Now, what I mean by that is this. If you go grocery shopping, and we're talking about cooking from scratch, it's gonna be healthier, and usually eating more natural, people say it costs more. Okay, then you don't have to buy this 90 ml organic. You can buy conventional. But for instance, if you want fries tonight, if you're saying, hey, let's make a hamburger and fry meal tonight, it's a lot more economic to buy a sack of potatoes, cut them up yourself, and buy the grease, pour them in there, or lard, or whatever you're using for your oil, and make potatoes. Not only are you getting, again, a better quality fry, there's no preservatives on that potato, and now you're cleaning it and you're cutting it up and you're putting it in a pan to fry. Now, if you want to be holistic and natural, you know, you can fry in higher quality oils and don't just get conventional junk seed oils. But another story for another day. But what I mean by that, or conveniently, instead of doing all that work to those potatoes, which you should, because cooking from scratch is a better quality food. But say, for instance, you say, I'm just gonna go to the frozen section and buy these fries that's already breaded, ready to go cut up, and I can just throw them in the frying pan. Well, there's a lot of preservatives, and it's highly processed to make it last long and be put up in that refrigerator or freezer for months or years. That quality food may have a lot more preservatives and a lot more ingredients in it that's not really good for our health. Plus, it's been wrapped up in this plastic for no telling how long, and then all of a sudden, it's gonna cost you more because the convenient element. If you look at making a homemade pizza, we love homemade pizza night. We make homemade pizzas all the time. We'll make our own dough, make our own sauce, and then put cheese on it, or in whatever meat, if it's our sausage or bacon. Well, that process is a lot longer than just going and getting a frozen pizza, or just going to town and buying a pizza. But the quality is better, and overall, it is more economical, and it doesn't have the chemicals or preservatives in it. Overall, it's just better for you. So, learning to eat sometimes inconvenience, going back to cooking from scratch, eating a little bit more holistic. If you want some fries, then let's make the fries and let's just don't buy them out of the frozen section. It's gonna save you money, it's gonna be better for your health, and again, gives you that time in the kitchen, maybe with your spouse or with your children. Next is pretty easy, and I think a lot of people do this already, but a by name brand will cost you more. Now, there's things that if you say, no, I've got to have this or got to have that, it's probably all in your mind, to be honest with you. But there's usually a store or a generic brand of everything you buy from a grocery store. And if you look at the ingredients, most of them are almost identical or very close to being identical. Now, I'm not saying quality needs to be changed for that. You need to buy quality because you don't want to be eating junk. But what I mean by, you know, are you having Blue Plate mayo today? Are you having the store brand mayo today? Great Value or Food Club or wherever you're purchasing from. Kirkland's from Costco. It's smart to look at quality for sure, but make sure we understand that sometimes the name on the package may not change the flavor or the quality. It may be more popular, so therefore the price may go up. So look at the generic brands. Look at the brands that are just there to save you money because they're the store brand and not the one that everybody sells. Walmart has the Great Value brand. You know, your local food mart may have something totally different. Kroger and Publix, all of them have their own brand. Even down to some of your holistic stores, like Whole Foods, they have the, you know, the 365 brand. It's kind of the store brand. It's going to be a lot more economical than buying, you know, the brand that everybody carries, that people may know more. It again doesn't mean quality, it just means cost more. So go back and save some money by buying some of the store brands. Number 9 is big, and this is where I think I may step on your toes. Quit drinking soft drinks and buying bottled water. Now, here's what I mean. If you live in an area that you don't have good quality water, okay, I know you've got to buy water. Bottled water is the most expensive way to buy water, for one thing. So you need to be drinking tap water if it's good quality. If you're on a well, you should definitely be drinking tap water. If you can filter your water, buy a little filter and filter your water. It's still going to be a lot cheaper than buying bottled water. But don't just buy bottled water for the convenience of bottled water. Buy the gallons, or drink it straight out of the tap, or filter it through a fridge, or through a Berkey, or through whatever, Alexa Pure, whatever you're using. I don't care if you use Brita. Just what I'm saying is, buying water is an expense that you should not be doing. Quit buying bottled drinks, period. There's no reason in putting that. Sometimes I understand if it's just a special holiday and you want to drink a glass of tea, or you want to drink a Coke or Dr. Pepper, good, that's fine. But think about the money you spend on soft drinks. Think about the money you spend when you go out and eat with your family, how much money it costs just to have a drink like a tea or Coke or Dr. Pepper, when you could be saving money by drinking water. It's better for you, no preservatives, and it also will save you money. Put the soft drinks back. Drink you some water with your meals. Don't say you can't. You can. And that is a big saver right there. And that would help you not only build money on your budget, but would save money, because those things are going up too. So inflation, recession, all that stuff is hitting those, but it's going to be healthier for you. And then it helps you understand, if we get used to water, then it helps us prep and stockpile water for us as a prepper, because that is going to be a lot more accessible water than Diet Coke if something really bad happens. So drink water and quit buying bottled water. Number 10, the last point, it kind of goes back to one of the very first points about meal planning. We can't just go to the grocery store or go to wherever we're buying food when we're hungry and we don't have a list. We can't just buy just to buy. And sometimes I'm more guilty about that than my wife. You know, we'll go in some supermarket and I'll say, well, we only have 3 things to get. And then I'll run by something and it looks really cool and looks really good. And I'm like, hey, that'd be good to have. Let's get that and try it. And so therefore, then you're spending more money on things that you probably did not have to have. It was not a need, it was a want. Again, we're trying to save money. Again, we see a recession happening, and I don't know if we're going to have the soft landing that they're hoping for. The inflation is making everything go up. They interviewed tons of name brands like Tyson that you hear, and Sanderson Farms, and even places like Walmart that says we are going to see some major increases in food prices. We've seen it with a lot of food, down to the milks and eggs, and we've talked about that in a lot of videos. So if we don't need it, we shouldn't just always buy it. We have to assess the difference in our wants and our needs. We have to make sure we have a list, and when we meal plan, that we stick to the meal plan, that we stick to the goal. It's not the easy button sometimes. There's times that, man, I come in, I'm worn out, Misty's worn out, we've been working all day, and it would be so easy to say, oh, let's just go to town and grab some food. That's not good. There's times that I go into a supermarket, I'm like, man, that would be so easy to get that convenient food. Well, that's not good. So number 10 is wrapping it all up, saying, know what your wants are, know what your needs are. Make a list, stick to it. Inconvenience sometimes is a good thing. It teaches us to, sometimes we have to kind of grin and bear it and go through it. And that will also help us on the prepping and homesteading side, because sometimes things are not as easy as we want them. So I hope this list helped. These are just a few things that could help you save money during a bad time that we're going through when it comes to our dollar and the value of it falling. And it's in my wallet. It's still there. That dollar's still there, but that dollar's losing value and its buying power. It's losing its buying power. So if we can learn to save money, we can learn to be smart with our economics, then we can have a good plan, and that will help us in the long haul to prep, to homestead, and to stockpile like we need to. Guys, thank you so much. Let me know again what you think of this video. Again, our hope is always found in way more than what this life can give us, and that, of course, is Jesus. Thank you so much for watching again, guys. God bless. Happy homesteading, y'all.